All right, guys, we got Nathan down here today, and we are checking out this Gibson SG Melody Maker.
So we've concluded that this is a 68 model. Some of the main features that lead us to believe that are the walnut finish. And then obviously we're going to have the SG body style. And then one of the coolest things about this Melody Maker is that we got the full-size headstock down here. So in 66, Gibson switched from the Les Paul style Melody Maker, which doesn't quite look like a Les Paul, and they switched to the double cut. And then later on, the double cut, the horns weren't as sharp here, and the body style was a little different. It kind of looked more like a Junior, if anything, or not even a Junior. It looked like those double horn guitars, and not like an SG though. So they switched to the SGs later on, and then around 68 or 69 is when they started putting the big headstocks on these things. So they only did those for like a year or two, and it's really cool to be able to see one and play one. And this is just a pretty sweet guitar overall. So as you can see, the finish on it, it's definitely been a player's guitar. You know, it's a little beat up around the corners and all over, but adds some character, like they say, you know.
And these came with white pickguards, so this pickguard has been changed out, and the pickups have been changed out.
Yeah, so they did come with 2 single coil pickups. So this would be a Melody Maker D, stands for double. So a lot of people think that stands for the double cutaway, because they did make the Melody Makers, like I said, in the Les Paul style shape, where there's only 1 cutaway. But the D actually stands for that you have 2 pickups in it, double pickups. And they came with single coil pickups, just like these ones, except the stock pickups, you wouldn't have been able to see the pole pieces in there. They would have had a solid single coil pickup cover, just like on the Fender Mustangs. It's like a perfect example. They look just like the Fender Mustang pickups.
Now I'm guessing that these are DiMarzio pickups because the wires that come out of the back, you have 1 green wire and 1 white wire. And so that's what I'm kind of thinking, that they're DiMarzios.
Well, they definitely sound killer. They got a lot of output for a single coil. You know, they definitely don't sound thin. I'm a big single coil person myself, but a lot of people think that single coils sound thin. That's definitely not the case with this thing. And another really cool thing that I noticed about these guitars, and it was just the same exact way on an old Melody Maker that I had. And if you look here, this is the original vibrola piece, the tail piece.
Right.
And we're missing the arm for it. Trying to find one, trying to track one down right now.
Yeah, so there's actually 2 pieces that's missing. You're missing the piece that goes in here and actually hooks in here that has the little circle thing that holds the arm. So there's 2 pieces, and the strings go through the back of this piece that holds it into that, holds it under that lip right there.
And then you got the arm that'll come off that second piece there.
So it'd probably be a good investment to get those pieces for that.
Yeah, they're definitely...
I think at this point I'd get them.
Yeah, it'll definitely be pretty awesome. You know, how many Gibsons do you see with like a tailpiece that cool on it? You know?
Right. And the original, if you could get a white pick guard, that would be neat.
It'd be awesome. So one other thing that I wanted to point out though is that if you have the tailpiece on here, like you said a minute ago, the strings will come up into the tailpiece, and then this bridge here, which is like a compensated bridge, it's got built-in intonation. For the most part, you still have to adjust a little bit, but the best thing you can do is get both E strings intonated, and then the rest will kind of follow through, because you can see it's not just a straight bridge across there. And the coolest thing about this is that if you're using the tailpiece on here, the vibrola tailpiece, you won't have to wrap your strings around here.
Right.
But some would say, well, this isn't the original bridge, because why would they put a fully functioning wraparound bridge on a guitar that comes with the tailpiece?
Right.
but Gibson actually did that. So they made it. I don't know if it's because they didn't want to manufacture like other bridges, or they just had a ton of extras, or they decided, let's do that in case people don't want to use the vibrato. So they just put a regular old wraparound tailpiece on it, just like they did with a lot of their Les Pauls, just like they did on some SGs. And that's what makes this guitar awesome, is because now that we're missing this vibrato, you could still play the guitar with all the original parts on it.
That's right. Yeah, because somebody literally took that off and thought this was a better setup to just do it this way.
Yeah, I would say it's probably a little more stable for tuning. And, you know, maybe the arm was getting in the way for them. They could have tucked it back, but... So, that's cool that they have the bridge on here. The only thing that kind of sucks about it is people are like, awesome, I'm just going to use this wraparound tailpiece, and I'll just get rid of the arm altogether.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, arm's gone forever.
It's missing.
They left it in a box, and
or maybe they
moved,
sold it. Maybe they sold it because this is a broken head stock, and so sometimes that hurts the value of it. So to try to get some of your money back out of it, you sell certain pieces off.
It out.
You part it out.
Yep, because the tuners here, not original. Like we said before, the pickups and the...
But these are really nice tuners on this thing. Flip it around.
Oh, yeah,
definitely. Look at these tuners.
Definitely nice tuners. No complaints about those things. Those are some Grovers, patent pending.
I think these are Imperials.
Definitely some nice tuners. You can see that break went clean through the headstock. But it looks like it was really done, repaired a nice job. And it's definitely a stable point of the guitar now. So
yeah, because 9 times out of 10, the break came across this point.
Yep.
And that's why they started putting the volute on there. What year did they start putting that volute on there where they had the big, do you know anything about that?
I've seen them on like more like recent guitars, because you know, everyone heard about the whole Gibson bankruptcy thing, so they're trying to make their guitars better for the customers or whatever. And that's one of the things that they did, was they put that volute here, if that's what you call it, to increase the stability of the headstock. But I don't know, I think they look kind of weird, but
right, and they kind of get in the way of your thumb and everything.
Yeah, but you know, if it decreases the chance of you breaking the headstock, it can't be that all bad of a thing.
So again, this is a super thick, chunky neck. Hold the guitar right there for me. And look at that distance of that neck through there. You were saying baseball bat.
Oh yeah, definitely. And one of the coolest things about this guitar, just like other SGs, is if you look at where the body meets the neck here,
yeah,
it meets it at the 21st fret. How many other guitars do you know where you could get your whole hand around the fretboard there at the 21st fret?
That's true.
You know, if you're looking at a Strat, it meets at like the 17th fret. So if you want to play any higher than that, your thumb's going to be hitting the body up here. This one... So our strap button's in the way a little bit, but we got some big locking strap buttons on there. But besides that, I could get my whole hand up in there. And that's where the neck starts to really get chunky. So
I like the feel of it too.
Besides the heel coming up kind of high on this one, like a lot of the Melody makers, it's still a huge neck. Even right here, super thick. Even down here, it's pretty thick. So it's definitely a big chunky neck. And you know, a lot of old Gibsons are like that, and people who've come to love old Gibsons because they got the big necks on them like that. So, but then it's kind of funny because the body on these, just like a regular SG, are super thin. So this is a super thin guitar's pretty light. We haven't weighed it or anything, but it's definitely one of the lighter guitars here. And you can see it's got some nicks around the edges and the corners. But it's all like honest wear, you know. No one wanted to relic this thing. And, you know, it's like an old 68 Gibson, so it's going to have some marks.
Yeah, back in the day, people didn't purposely relic their guitar. They just played it. And I like seeing that.
Yep. And it's got the nice body contour on it.
Okay, well, we're going to plug this thing in and play it. So here we go.
Demo this guitar, so. That's on the neck, go to the middle.